This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have our next guest here, and Anthony Yannotta. He is so much. He's a empath. He's a owner of his own health and wellness company called Synchronicity, and he's just someone that really helps you. Can get to the root cause of many things, and we believe in a lot of energy healing that can help us get through things, and this can help you with stress, nutrition. And with his skills of coaching and energy healing, he's here today to talk more about how he can help you and me. How are you today, darling?
Hi, Jill. How are you? I'm good, thank you.
Been
It's always
better. I
good
have
to
a
be
lot going
here.
on in my life. But for you, tell us a
Yeah,
little bit
right.
about what you do. Give us a little overview, and then we'll get started with the show.
All right. Well, synchronicity came about when I was ill. And
Mm-hmm.
as I learned to change the things in my life that were causing me to become ill, I became better. And I've taken all that information over the past probably 25 years or so, maybe even more, and kind of applied it to my life and have learned a lot about how the universe is constantly trying to help us like correct our course and move in the direction of our soul's highest purpose. And so what we're noticing, let's say at this time of year, I think we just came past Groundhog's Day, right? So every year is like this opportunity for us to improve
Yeah.
and energetically at this time of year, whether you did it or not, you're going to do it, whether you like it or not. So it's kind of how the universe works. Um, it's always there to support us, and we can shift, let's say, anytime we want throughout the year. But
Okay.
this time of year is like, okay, if you didn't get all the little subtle cues, now I'm going to show you in a little bit of a bigger way. So what everyone is probably noticing in their lives is things are coming to a head. Things are coming to, oops, I forgot to take care of this, or oh, where am I slacking in my life? What do I need to do in certain areas to make sure things kind of work out for me? Otherwise, then you're met with maybe the repercussions of not following those subtle cues. Let's say for the past year, I can tell you for the past 3 months, I've been very subtly guided to move. And I'm like, why? I really love this house. I don't want to move. Everything's so nice. And the universe is like, well, here, let me show you. Let me get your septic to not work. And I'm like, okay. And then let me cause another clog in the kitchen sink. And then, you know what? Let me have your landlord not fix the septic. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm moving. So enough is that. And as soon as I made the choice, signed the lease, everything starts to work again. All of a sudden, the septic gets fixed. All these other things start to work out. So it's like we, what I try to really help people with is seeing all the little subtle cues along the way. And I mean, I could tell you, I have literally dragged my feet and gone kicking and screaming. I don't know, so many times I can't count. But now when I see the little, cues along the way, I'm like, okay, whatever you think's best, because what do I know? And I've learned to really just get in the flow and trust what's being shown to me because, well, it's you don't really have a choice. And if you do, you can do it with grace, or you can do it by being dragged through it like a little kid in a toy store, right? So, um, you know, I'm I have no problem saying that up until recently, like I have gone kicking and screaming pretty much every step of the way. So it's not like yes, I've been doing this for quite a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean like, okay, everybody has to be perfect about it. I mean, and that's what I want people to know too, is wherever you are, like in your stage of life, it's perfect for where you're at. And nobody's supposed to be trying to go through the same thing. Everybody has a different path. There's no one way is the right way. Um, and so what I really try to help people do is understand the path that's being shown to them so they can better understand it and make the choices for themselves. It's not really about coming to me and me giving the answers. That's probably the one thing I don't want to do
Yeah.
because when you give somebody the answer, they can't see it for themselves. And, like if you were ever to try and explain something, even to a child, right? Like, don't do this because this will happen. I mean, the first thing they do is like touch the hot stove, right? I'm just like, maybe it's not a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
That's something you'll have to figure out. And if you want
Yeah.
to touch the stove, go right ahead. You'll figure it out. I know it's not going to kill you, but I do know in that sense, you'll learn the lesson, right? So that's kind of where we're all at. And it's coming up for everybody in our own special way. For me, it was a shift so that I can move. And part of that shift is I'm moving into a bigger home that
Wow.
has an entire studio downstairs where I can hold classes of like 25 people, do breath work sessions. I have rooms for crystal bed therapy. Um, and it's just going to be an awesome opportunity for me to live and work out of my home and really not just have one or two clients, but groups. So I have the option to do both. And so that's going to be kind of happening in the middle of March. I'll be moving in the beginning of March, and that's right here in New Jersey, a little more west of where I'm at now. It's going to be in Bethlehem Township, which
Got
is like
it.
exit 7 off 78.
So is it cliche to say everything happens for a reason? I mean, those are cliche lines,
Oh,
but I
yeah,
use them all the time. I believe in that.
everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. And it's not always easy to see the reason why, but it does happen. I mean, is there anything that you feel comfortable with sharing that maybe I can just give you a little like walkthrough so you just get
I,
an idea of what I'm saying?
I got it. Let me just tell you what I've been telling everyone. God
Sure.
only gives you what you can handle, I believe. And
Yep.
I think God
True.
really loves me right now because
Mhm.
let me explain to you what's been happening 5 days now. So you mentioned this. This is interesting. Now I'm looking back.
Mhm.
Since January, my kitchen sink backed up. It's been leaking, right? Then my bathtub in my bathroom, my little son likes to bathe. The left hot water thing is all stripped. We can't use that tub. The sink, I've been taking buckets of water, like pots, into the sink and like into the bathroom. I've been washing dishes, doing it's just a lot of extra legwork. At the same time,
Yep.
my house is in disarray with all
Mhm.
Christmas bins out and stuff. And before the Christmas bins came, all the crap in my kids' rooms. I have one room that I can't even walk in with bins and clothes, and it's a disaster. The
Yep.
hallway's lined with bins of Christmas stuff that have to go away into my bedroom, and I'm feeling overwhelmed and hoarded and trying to do it, but I never can because the kids aren't here and I complain about it. And I started making headway and I've been making headway very slow. I just need to be alone to do this. I haven't. Well, let me just tell you what happened Friday now.
Mhm.
I was in a really bad car accident. I was in the
Oh,
hospital. My
jeez.
car got totaled. I got hit. Someone pulled out of
Oh.
a parking lot. I swerved. He hit me. Airbags went off, which I got some damage on my face, my chest. I'm
Oh,
okay. I'm
jeez.
alive. And then there was a third car involved, which I didn't even know about because I was in the ambulance. Everyone's okay. One guy left the scene. So now I have this, and I got a brand new Kia Telluride for my kids. I've never had a new car my whole life, and last year I got it, had 5,600 miles, and I've been taking care of it. And wow, so
Mhm.
now I lose my car, which is but I'm grateful to be alive, right? I'm just getting and processing through this on Friday,
Absolutely.
right? I'm dealing with
Mhm.
the adjuster. Can they fix it? Can they not? No, total. This is now Saturday, so I'm just out of it this weekend. And if you
Sure.
things can't, if you think things can't get worse, then yesterday I wake up in my home and I have two kids, and
Mhm.
we've been sleeping on the couch because the heat upstairs it freezes. It's so cold here, right?
Mhm.
We've had no heat upstairs, and pipe burst in his room. He went upstairs to change for
Oh,
school,
goodness.
and the carpet soaking wet, hot water spewing out of the wall. Panic mode. It's now his bedroom, his Pottery Barn expensive furniture that I got 5 years ago. Everything's ruined. And then I'm like, oh my God, wait, shut the valve off in the basement on the thing. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is all now into the garage. I go downstairs, open the garage, and there's a flood of water pouring into all my belongings in the garage. And my garage is no garage. My garage is like a storage unit. I have my TVs, my dining room table, my chairs. I have carpets.
Mhm.
I use it as a storage. My son's dirt
Sure.
bike, but there's a lot of personal items in there.
Mhm.
I am overwhelmed beyond belief. Then yesterday on this day was my son's ninth birthday. Now I'm trying to pull it together. I decorated the house for him the night before. Then I'm having people come over last night as restoration company people are coming in, plumbers are coming in, trying to fix the burst,
Sure.
assessing damage. And now I have pizza and cake and everything. And so I actually had to have a drink, me and my sister and my friends. I
Good
had a
for
good
you.
time.
Hmm.
But and then I just have to let it go. And then this morning, waking up, the restoration company comes. I'm dealing with the adjuster. I'm like, I got two claims now in for the auto for this.
Mhm.
Then I went yesterday to pick up my rental car after the flood. I had no choice to pick up my rental car. And then I go pick up the rental car. And then I have to go visit the Kia to get everything out of the Kia. There's so much stuff in my truck for my kids, the sleds, the stuff. I took everything to the Kia. Now my rental car is packed with crap, which normally I would take home, put in my garage so I could drive my car. There's no room for even
Sure.
the second, third, or fourth person because all my crap is from the Kias in there. It's like when
Wow.
it rains, it pours, they say. So
Yeah.
energetically, I'm feeling not well. I'm feeling there's been a greater and I know my problem has been to get the shit together, excuse my language, in the home. And I haven't had the time. I'm trying to move bin storage. And now they have to rip up the whole second floor of my house. And I got to get all the bins into the attic. I got to do all that stuff. I have no choice out of that room because they're going to come rip
Yeah.
up all the carpet. Like, so explain this to me. You were going through the same thing. So what is happening? Is this in the
Yeah.
world? Is it
So
just us? What's going on here?
this is
Thank you for
this is
listening.
for all of humanity. This is something that's happening globally for everybody, and we're all having our own unique experience. And so, what I can see you're going through is a complete transformation. And when I work with people and help them heal certain parts of their energetic body, okay, I can visually see their entire body as I look at it and I call it like a Rubik's Cube. And I can see what areas need to be like, I see it as like an electrical system, and there are certain areas of the body that aren't lit up. So, what I'll do is I'll light those areas up, and then they'll have experiences in life. Okay, so that's something that I can help people with like anytime throughout the year. But universally, this is kind of just happening for everybody. So there's certain areas of your life that are being shown to you in a much bigger way. And it's basically like the universe is saying, well, now that you can't drive anywhere, now you have time to stay home and take care of all this stuff, right? But at the same time, uh, it's all for the purpose of you experiencing an upgrade. All right. Whenever we pray for something or ask God or the universe for something or an improvement in our life, we need to make room for that. And we also have to experience, in a sense, the death of the old version of ourself because a new version is going to emerge. So what you're experiencing is like a death of the old. Maybe if things are getting ruined, maybe not everything can come with you. I'm having to go through things and saying, okay, I'm moving into this new home. What do I want to bring with me? And I'm like, I don't want to bring anything from my past with me. I don't want to bring the old with me. That there's an old story and an old version of Anthony that exists in the home I'm in now. And the newer version or better version that I'm stepping into is what I need to align with in order to step into that new home with grace. So it's very easy to say, "Oh my God, life is crazy. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? Like, how can this happen?" and stuff like that. But the truth is if this is happening to you, this is a really good sign. It doesn't always feel good because obviously we have to deal with it ourselves. But at the same time, I, you know, once you get through it, it's it's going to be like, oh wow, like okay, I had no idea it could be like this, and I feel so much better. And that's kind of where your faith has to step in. You have to say, okay, this is definitely happening for a reason. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
So now I can learn to prioritize exactly what needs to be done first in order to continue to move forward. And that's what I try to explain to is we can't step into that new life unless we kind of handle what's happening right now. So I always try to tell everyone is like, the idea of like living in the moment, like we need to be in that moment so we can continue to step forward and step into that new life. We can't have our thoughts on the future really too much at all and step into the future if we're not all here now and then actively stepping into our new life with all of ourselves. So, you know, pipes bursting, it's all connected to, let's say, the furnace of the home. When I think about the furnace of the home, I think that's your core. That's like your you know it's what warms your body. I consider it almost like the heart. So maybe you're having a little bit of a restructuring of the heart. Okay, your heart's going to maybe expand some more. You're maybe learning to love yourself more, or you're being given that opportunity to do so. And the way we are shown about ourselves is we usually have the opposite experience. So, in other words, if I ask God for patience, I'm sure you've heard this, before. Like we're just not given patience. We're given the
Yeah.
opportunity to learn how to become patient. Well, energetically, the way our bodies work is our experience and the life that we have is a reflection of our internal world. So, literally, as I see it, as God's light comes through us, it comes through our bodies and projects the world before us. And we can't always know everything about ourselves. So, things pop up in our life to help us see things about ourselves that are in our subconscious. Like if you find maybe a group of people, like maybe one here, one there, and one somewhere else. Why are those people treating me with disrespect?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's really never about them. It's about how or what am I allowing? Like, so I'm allowing that, right? I mean, somebody can be disrespectful to me, and that's fine. That shows me who they are, right? But I don't have to allow it to continue. So, but normally, if you do allow it to continue, it starts to get louder and louder and louder. And so I've had to learn, like, okay, we need to put up some boundaries here. I need to have more respect for myself. So as I learn to love myself more, it's reflected back to me maybe in the opposite way. And so that's kind of what you're experiencing right now is, you know, we all have these great intentions. We all have this idea of what our future looks like, and we're asking for it consciously or unconsciously. And you're, you're you're no different, right? So
Yeah.
you're having to go through whatever you're going through, and it's a sign that you are getting ready to shift. And so the middle of February is that time, like from the middle to maybe let's just say the third week
Taking
in
notes.
February.
Okay.
That's where major shifts happen. So you're already on that trajectory, you're already seeing that, experiencing that in your life. I was actually asked to move like precisely in the middle of February, and I was like, no, I want an extra 2 weeks. So
Uh-huh.
for me, it's like, okay, there's still part of me that's like procrastinating, but I really needed to give myself enough time to make sure everything was right. And you don't want to be too much of a perfectionist either, because the right time is always now. So, I mean, this is something that we're constantly learning to navigate. And it's important because who doesn't want life to be, you know, a little more peaceful, be able to just go through your day and do what you do as you, without having to try and be somebody else, without having to try and prove anything to anybody. Just be you, all of you, for who you are. And um, just to kind of give you an example, I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she was like, Anthony, why do you always have to say stuff like that? And I'm like, well, that's kind of how I'm designed. Like when I
Yeah.
see somebody saying something that's
Darn
just like
right.
BS, I'm like, hey, you know what I think about that? Right. But I do it in a way where it's more of a boundary, or I just won't agree with it. Um, if it's my sister, maybe I'll tell her, like, don't you think it's kind of messed up? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But if I really don't get um, the guidance to say anything, I don't, because we're not always supposed to get involved in everything. The idea is for you to take your own gifts and use them to better yourself and others. But at first, it's like, the healer needs to be healed. Like we all need to heal ourselves to,
Yeah.
let's say, a certain place before we can continue taking that out into the world. Um, because we don't want to project. Let's say there are some people that just have a tremendous amount of baggage and karma. Like I came into this lifetime with like two
Whew.
lifetimes worth of stuff. Okay. And
Hmm.
everyone always used to say to me, oh, geez, man, you're going to have to go through so much. I'm like, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Like, what does that even mean? And then I got to see certain friends kind of fade away. And I'm like, all right, when's going to be my turn? When's going to be my turn? But the truth is, We're always being guided precisely on time. You really can't, nothing can be kept from you. If it's meant for you, you can't miss it. And that's how this house worked out. I didn't pursue it. They kept calling me. I told the landlord we need to knock about $1,100 off the cost of that monthly
Yeah.
rent. And I was like, if they accept that, like,
Wow.
there's no way. They accepted it in about 30 minutes. And I was like, are you kidding me? So what's literally meant for you is it can't pass you by.
Yeah.
And so for you, I would say just take one breath at a time, prioritize what needs to be done, just trust in the process and do the best you can. If your best is 10% and you give it all, you've done enough. You know,
Beautiful.
the pressure is something that you're putting on yourself,
Sure
because we
is.
need to be like super mom and we need to like make sure the house is perfect and, you know, and then we're like, oh my goodness, I need a drink,
Yep.
and everyone's like, oh, you can't do that because it's not spiritual. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't take all this stuff. Like, go have a
Got
drink,
it.
go have that Snickers bar, go eat meat, go do whatever you're being called to do in that time. Just, be mindful of yourself. Allow yourself just to have that moment to just kind of relax because the tension is what we tend to hold on to, either knowingly or unknowingly. And that's where the troubles start to set in because as we hold that tension, we don't always have as much clarity. So, like my kitchen sink was overflowing. It's funny you were saying that. I do have an issue with the downstairs bathroom, right? So it's like, okay, kids, we're just not
We
close
both
that
have all
door,
these
turn that light
plumbing
off.
issues.
I know, so plumbing issues are like, what are we not letting go of? All right. What are we still holding on to in our lives that we're not letting go of? Because, all that waste should be going out of the house and away. But for some reason, there's an issue with it leaving, right? So you have to just sit with yourself and be like, okay, what part of my life, my past, am I still holding on to that I maybe need to just take a look at and let it go. Well, how do you let it go? Maybe it's forgiveness, maybe it's forgiveness for a relationship where somebody treated you horribly or something. And you have to you're forgiving them for your own self, in a sense. And if you can see something like that as, um, like, what was I being taught? Well, maybe I was being taught to really learn how to respect myself and value myself. So thank goodness that person treated me like crap, right? So if you can see it like that, you can be thankful for it. And then all of a sudden, you don't really need to forgive because, true forgiveness is knowing that there is nothing really to forgive. And and going back to what you were saying, does everything really happen for a reason? Yes, I really do believe it does. So, um, consider those things for yourself. Take one day at a time and see if there's any aspects of your life that maybe you're holding on to that you need to let go of so you can step into a newer version. Um, it's all our own personal own story that we have to kind of make our way through in our heads. And at the end of the day, the whole idea is to maybe just kind of let go of the story so that it doesn't continue to recreate our future.
Ah,
And that's where we come to like the quiet part of our mind and just allow the universe to show, like, take us on an adventure in a sense. So, when you say, what's your story? Well, all those things are things that maybe have happened to you in the past, but they're not you. So, who is Jill, right?
I know.
Who is Jill? Who is Anthony? Like, is Anthony all those things that happened to him? No, those were experiences to help me grow. But do I want to keep, you know, bringing some of that into my future when people ask me about myself? I'm kind of almost at the point where I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, you know, going through a divorce, losing my business and losing a home and going from making 25 grand a day to 25 grand a year, all in a matter of about a year and a half. So it was like, how do you, like, how is that even possible? I'm like, can this happen to me? My mom was saying, like, one of those things usually happens to somebody, and that's tragic enough in life. She's like, you got all three. And then there was more. And she's always like, God must have a real big purpose for you, right? And the truth is, well, sometimes in order to get to the center of that Tootsie Roll, you got to really peel those layers off. And what does it really take for that to happen? So all these things that happen are a blessing. And we ultimately see it that way, but it's not always easy to go through that. Um, and I'm watching my kids go through the same thing. My daughter, she's 18. She's got to have her hair done, her makeup perfect. She needs her own bathroom. This was something
Uh-huh.
new for me. When I was talking to someone at a deli, the woman behind the counter said, well, you better make sure you just give her her own bathroom. And don't say a word, because that's what she needs. And I started to laugh, but it's true. And now this new home, she's got her own bathroom and a
Yeah.
bedroom. She's got her own space. And so it's all going to work out. So
Yeah.
I can tell you, it's going to work out for you too. Just hang in there, work through some of the feelings too. Like, how does it make you feel, Joe? How did you really feel when
Oh
you started
my
to get
God.
overwhelmed?
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I am overwhelmed. I'm going to get through this. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very
Makes me
welcome.
feel crappy, but I'm going to get through. I'm going to get through this. And so will you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, we both will. And you're very welcome. Just keep that positive mindset. And it's not to say that you can't feel sad. Just don't dwell in the sadness, because it's bringing up something maybe from your past where maybe you didn't cry when you needed to. And if you
Yeah.
feel like you should cry, just cry now, even if you don't know the reason. And I mean, who doesn't feel better after they cry?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just our body's natural way of healing the nervous system, really, you know.
Ah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well,
Yeah.
how can we contact you, sweetheart? Thank you so much.
So contacting me, the best way to do it is just call me on my cell phone or really text me on my cell. You know, I kind of just offer my number out there just to let people know that, I'm right there with them. This isn't somewhere where you're going to talk to somebody else and like all this scheduling stuff. I think being able to have that connection with people really helps them to feel safe, really helps them to feel like it's a personal thing. I mean, this is all really personal work, right? So texting me on my cell phone is really the best way to contact me. And that's 908-963-7317. And then again, you can always message me through my website, which is Synchronicity Health and Wellness .com.
Thank you. All
And,
right.
I usually get back to people within 24 to 48 hours. But, Jill, if you ever wanted to reach out when things are getting a little crazy, you're always welcome to do that, for yourself, because that little bit of clarity, sometimes it can just shift everything
Got
and
it.
in just a moment,
Got it.
hours of stress to maybe just something simple that I say or as somebody else says, and all of a sudden it changes your entire perspective and you can continue to move forward. Real
Great.
positive,
I
uh,
appreciate that. I appreciate you. And what a great conversation. It feels so much better that I'm not alone, and
yeah.
it's okay, but I'm alive too. And then I keep crying because it's like, gosh, that accident. I dropped my son off at school after the orthodontist right before this all happened. And
Hmm.
then looking at the car yesterday when I got my belongings, I didn't even realize that the airbox on the side where he was sitting went off. So it's like I got
Hmm.
goosebumps, grateful. My mom's watching
Yeah.
over me, the man above, and it's just, I'm feeling good today. And
Yeah.
I'm going
Well,
to
that's
cry,
good.
but in a good way, even though my house is a disaster and everyone's there, but whatever. I'm good.
It's good,
Thank
Joe.
you.
It's
Thank
all
you so
good.
much. I
You're
needed you
welcome.
today. And this is all
And
part of our path
congratulations,
of,
which is kind of crazy, right? Congratulations, because your car is like your energetic body. So you're getting an upgrade. And
thank
sometimes the
you.
upgrade doesn't feel so good or look so good. But like you said, thank God you're okay. And that's really all that matters.
God bless. Thank you, sweetie. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
God
Thank you.
bless.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.